Hi, and welcome back. I'm Danny Lee, Royal Air Force veteran, and your guide to keeping your aerospace management system cleared for audit. In today's episode, we're looking at aerospace certification and why the phrase, "but we're already certified," causes so many problems. There's a particular phrase that floats around organisations whenever aerospace requirements come up, and it's almost always said with the sort of confidence that makes everybody else hesitate. And the phrase is, why do we need to change that? We're already certified. Now, what's interesting aren't necessarily the words themselves, it's who says them, when they say them, and why they say them. Because this isn't a technical statement, it's actually a social one. And more importantly, it's a conversation closer. You hear it from senior leadership when quality is asking for more structure. You hear it from operations when someone suggests tightening a control. And you hear it in sales conversations when a customer asks about aerospace capability. And internally, people repeat it to themselves as a way of reassuring each other that everything is fine. And it kind of works as a safety blanket. It works as a bit of a shield. And unfortunately, it works a little too well, because it actually shuts down the conversation at exactly the moment the system needs more curiosity, not less. So let's unpack certification without jargon, because the misunderstanding starts right there. Certification, in plain English, is a moment in time where the auditor checks whether your system meets a minimum level of control. It's a snapshot of how things looked on the days they visited. Is it useful? Absolutely, of course it is. Is it reliable proof of ongoing control? Not even close. Certification doesn't track how your system behaves on a Tuesday afternoon when you're short-staffed. It doesn't measure how people react when delivery pressure hits. It doesn't see the shortcuts that creep in after the audit when the spotlight has moved on. It tells you what the system did, but not what it actually does. And aerospace cares deeply about what your system actually does. Take an AS9100 manufacturing example. Let's say that a machine firm has just passed its external audit. Everything looks clean on the day, tooling controlled, documents aligned, parts flowing properly. The certificate gets updated, leadership feels proud, and the atmosphere relaxes slightly. And then real life inevitably happens. A drawing revision changes on a short notice. A supplier pushes a delivery back. A deviation gets approved quickly to keep production moving. And individually, none of this is dramatic. Collectively, it's the truth of manufacturing. And here's the uncomfortable bit. The certificate does not guarantee the system handles these moments well. It only shows it handled things well during the audit window. And that's where the phrase, "we're already certified," becomes a liability. It creates a false sense of stability in a system that's quietly shifting underneath. So let's change tact a little bit and look at an AS9120 example. A distributor passes their audit smoothly. Stock records match, certificates match, labels line up, everything looks under control. Fast forward a few months. Returns come in. A supplier changes the label formatting. Someone moves stock to a temporary location because a pallet's in the way. A shelf life item creeps towards expiry. A batch number looks similar to another batch number. Warehouse workload jumps for a week. The certificate doesn't evolve to reflect any of that. Aerospace customers, however, expect that your controls do, daily, not just annually during an audit. So while "we're already certified" feels reassuring, the reality is that certification measures the structure of your system, not the behaviour of it. There's a common pain point that emerges from this misunderstanding. Certification becomes a psychological anchor. People assume that because the system passed the audit, the system is strong. Processes get a little looser, reviews get postponed, controls become a little more flexible, and supplier oversight quietens down. People challenge fewer decisions because everything passed. The certificate starts doing the job the system is supposed to do, and that's how the drift begins. A very realistic scenario plays out like this. A customer raises a concern about documentation inconsistencies. Nothing too catastrophic, maybe incorrect certificates of conformity, an incorrect revision on a label, or a part that got processed slightly differently to expectation. Internally, everyone is surprised. How could that happen? We're already certified. But when they dig, the organisation realises the drift didn't happen suddenly. It happened slowly. Culture started to shift, controls became relaxed, and risks went unnoticed because the certificate reassured everyone that the system was fine. Certification didn't fail, the mindset did. When organisations finally confront this gap, they tend to respond in two equally unhelpful ways. They either bury everything in forms, approvals, signatures, and over-control the process, or they shrug it off and trust the next audit will catch anything important. But both approaches make things worse. Over-control tends to frustrate people, and it pushes them towards workarounds, and under-control hides issues until the external party exposes them. Neither leads to real confidence. A better and more practical approach is to treat your certificate as a proof of direction, not a proof of daily strength. Instead of saying, we're certified, ask, are we still operating like a system that deserves certification? Instead of assuming controls are working, ask, what would an auditor see if they turned up tomorrow? Certification should be evidence of discipline, not a replacement for it. So here's one takeaway to act on now. Choose one area of your system, any area, and ask the simplest question possible. Would we feel confident showing this to a customer today? Not last week, not during the audit, but today. And if your answer is yes, your system is alive. And if the answer is not right now, you've just found exactly where we're already certified has been hiding risk. And that's where Aerospace expects you to uncover it. Next time, we'll look at the difference between ownership and responsibility in aerospace systems, and why confusing the two is one of the most common sources of friction and failure in organisations. Thank you for your time. If your business needs a steady hand getting back on track, you can find us at www.clearedforaudit.com. No obligation, just a conversation. See you next time on Cleared for Audit.